Imagine old England 100 years ago. Back then, people drove funny cars, wore long coats and hats, and lit dim lanterns in the evenings. In one cozy house lived a woman whom the whole world adored. Her name was Agatha Christie. She came up with the most intricate crime stories that no one could solve until the very end. People called her the Queen of Mystery. But one day, something happened that no one expected. The Queen herself vanished, as if dissolved in the thick English fog. It was a cold December evening. Agatha's house was quiet. Only the old clock on the wall was ticking. Suddenly, the door creaked. Agatha left the house, got into her small car, and drove off into the darkness. She took no suitcases, left no note, and didn't even say goodbye. The next morning, passers-by found her car on the edge of a steep cliff. The door was open, the headlights were broken, and only a fur coat and an old driver's license lay on the seat inside. Agatha herself was nowhere to be found. Below the cliff, a deep pit loomed black, and everyone feared the worst. The news of the Queen's disappearance spread faster than the wind. Newspapers all over the world printed her photos on the front pages. "Where is Agatha?" everyone asked. The police were run off their feet. Thousands of ordinary people went out into the woods and fields to look for her. They combed every bush, peered under every bridge, and even dove into cold lakes. These were the largest searches in the history of England. Even other famous writers decided to help. The creator of Sherlock Holmes took Agatha's glove and went to a man who could see through time, hoping for a miracle. But even magic and the best detectives remained silent. 5 days passed, then 10. Hope was melting like the first snow. People began to come up with strange theories. Some said she was kidnapped by villains from her own books. Others thought she decided to play a trick on everyone to see how the real police worked. And some whispered that she just wanted to hide from the whole world because she was very sad. There was much sorrow in her life then. Her beloved mother had passed away forever, and her husband said he no longer loved her. The Queen's heart was broken into small pieces, and perhaps she just wanted to run away from that pain. Meanwhile, in a distant city where people were treated with healing water, a strange guest appeared in an expensive hotel. She was very quiet, polite, and smiled all the time, but a secret was hidden in her eyes. She signed the guest book under a false name. Most interestingly, it was the name of the woman her husband loved. She went to dances, listened to music, and drank tea, while the whole country searched for her in the woods. Other people in the hotel looked at her and whispered, "Look how much she looks like that writer from the newspapers." But the woman only shook her head and said they were mistaken. On the 11th day, one of the musicians at the hotel couldn't take it anymore. He looked closely at the guest and realized it was definitely her. He called the police and Agatha's husband. When her husband arrived at the hotel, Agatha was sitting in the lobby reading a newspaper. On the front page of this newspaper was her own portrait with the inscription, "Missing." She looked up, looked at her husband, but there was no recognition in her eyes. She acted as if she was seeing him for the first time in her life. She forgot her name, her home, and her books. She forgot that she was the great Queen of Mystery. The doctors said her memory simply hid to protect her from grief. It's like a computer shutting down when it gets too hot. Agatha returned home, but she never, not once in her life, spoke about those 11 days again. She wrote hundreds more wonderful books, came up with new characters, and lived a long life. But this secret remained locked in her heart with a strong lock. Even now, when many years have passed, people continue to argue. Was it true, or was it her best, most atmospheric script that she played out in reality? We will never know for sure. But every time a fog descends on England, it seems that somewhere there, between the trees, the headlights of a small car flicker, and the Queen of Mystery drives off into the darkness again, leaving us with a riddle that even the smartest detective in the world cannot solve. It was a story about how the most famous author of mysteries herself turned into the main mystery of the century. And perhaps that is exactly how a real detective fairy tale should end.